For a franchise that is more accustomed to heartbreak than celebration, the 2023 season made a lot of sense for the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers' Achilles tear after just 4 snaps ended their most hotly anticipated season in decades before it had even had a chance to get started. Now though, with Rodgers already spinning it in OTAs and a significantly bolstered offensive unit at his fingertips, it is finally time for the doomed franchise to end the curse. In 2024, the New York Jets are going to dominate the NFL. In some ways, the devastating injury on Monday Night Football was simply an early arrival of an inevitable outcome. There was no way a 39-year-old Rodgers was going to survive a whole season behind that offensive line. So, in a search for even the slimmest of silver linings, at least his season-ending injury occurred on the first drive, allowing him to make a full recovery in time for the 2024 campaign. To emphasize the problem the Jets faced, 7 of their lowest-graded Pro Football Focus pass-blocking grades belonged to players on the offensive line, falling behind some tight ends, running backs, and wide receivers. Those 7 linemen included Max Mitchell, who played in 8, Connor McGovern, who played in 7, and Carter Warren, who played in 6, with all of them receiving a grade of under 53 on PFF. Even the quote-unquote good Jets linemen, Mekhi Becton and Laken Tomlinson, gave up 19 sacks between them and only got grades of 60. That's good enough to place them approximately 150th overall for pass blocking amongst offensive linemen on PFF. Long story short, whoever lined up under center was screwed, especially an increasingly immobile Aaron Rodgers. It is, therefore, excellent news that General Manager Joe Douglas went out of his way to prioritize the offensive line. The headline addition is Tyron Smith, fresh off a dominant career with the Dallas Cowboys, for whom he logged 8 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, and 3 second-team All-Pros. That is what you call an upgrade, aligning potential Hall of Fame talent at the left tackle position with certain Hall of Fame talent at quarterback. The one minor catch with the Tyron Smith signing is that he will turn 34 years old during the 2024 season, and availability has begun to be a bit of an issue for him. It is because of this that Joe Douglas' first-round draft selection was such a good one. With the 11th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, offensive tackle Olu Fashanu became a New York Jet, bringing even more support to a unit that very much needed help. His selection also gives the team a fantastic balance of veteran talent and youthful upside at the left tackle position. Fashanu appears to have all the traits required to suggest a long and successful career in the NFL is on the cards, and in Tyron Smith, he has the perfect mentor. He can sit and learn behind the experienced tackle, filling in whenever that pesky injury inevitably materializes. Having taken some Pro Bowl talent from Dallas and picked up a promising rookie in the draft, Douglas then raided the Baltimore Ravens to complete the makeover of his offensive line. Morgan Moses is his shiny new right tackle, with John Simpson also making the journey over from Baltimore to slot in at left guard. Moses has scored PFF grades of 77 in each of his last 2 seasons, making him a very valuable asset to stick on the offensive line. Whilst the new additions are undoubtedly great updates, there's still some homegrown talent to be excited about. Joe Tippmann was solid as a rookie in 2024, and offseason hype suggests a sophomore season breakout at center could be on the way. Add in the return of a healthy Elijah Vera Tucker at guard, and things are really looking up. He has Pro Bowl potential, rounding out a unit that is a significant upgrade over the Jets' last outfit. That should be music to the ears of anyone hoping to see Rodgers remain upright on the field. The importance of the offensive line cannot be overestimated. It is their effectiveness that will allow the playmakers to work their magic. Los Angeles Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh recently stated that he sees his offensive linemen as the weapons on his team, and he knows a thing or two about how to run an offense. Harbaugh's selection of Joe Alt with the 5th overall pick in the draft frustrated a lot of Chargers fans who wanted an exciting new wide receiver, but the logic stands up. The Jets' 2023 season is a clear example of why it was the right move to make. Thanks to his newly stacked unit, Aaron Rodgers should have way more time to read what the defense gives him and find his talented arsenal of playmakers, and that should excite New York Jets fans plenty. In Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, the Jets boast 2 of the most exciting young stars of the NFL. Wilson has defied bad quarterback play to surpass 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 seasons in the league. He's a slick athlete with a proven track record of beating whatever coverage the defense uses to try and keep him quiet. According to Matt Harmon's reception perception, he has a success rate of 79% against man coverage and 82% against zone. He just gets open, and these statistics prove that he is one elite quarterback away from taking off as one of the league's best wide receivers. Thankfully, he has Rodgers back under center in 2024 instead of the disastrous carousel of quarterbacks he had to play with last year. We just have to pray that Rodgers stays healthy so we can get to see Wilson unleashed. The other player who stands to benefit from not just the return of Rodgers, but also the bolstering of the offensive line is running back Breece Hall. Hall averaged a whopping 5.8 yards per carry as a rookie before his season was cut short by a brutal ACL tear. He returned in 2023 to average a very healthy 4.5 yards per carry, which produced 994 yards and 5 touchdowns. He only missed out on the 1,000 yard mark because he was eased into the action earlier in the year. Now that he's even further removed from that injury, and given he has been productive behind an embarrassing offensive line up to now, Hall should smash beyond this improved unit in 2024. The trio of Rodgers, Wilson, and Hall is incredibly exciting for New York Jets fans, with Mike Williams' arrival from LA offering up another daunting target as well. On top of that, Malachi Corley was a fascinating wide receiver selection in the 3rd round, with it later being revealed that the Jets had tried multiple times to trade up in the second round to take him. He's more of a catch and run threat with a playstyle that has been compared to that of Deebo Samuel, adding another useful element to the offense. Add in the fact that Breece Hall is also one of the league's best pass catching backs, and it is fair to say that Rodgers should have a dynamic weapon available to him every single time he drops back. What makes these improvements on the offensive side of the ball so exciting is that the defense is already there. The Jets defense, led by head coach Robert Saleh, has been one of the most dominant units in the league over the past few years. In 2023, Ahmad Sauce Gardner headlined a supremely talented secondary that conceded the fewest passing yards in the NFL. The cornerback trio of Sauce, DJ Reed, and Michael Carter II was recently rated the best cornerback trio in the NFL by PFF. They dominated in 2023, and opposing quarterbacks shouldn't expect any let-up this time around. The only real changes have come on the defensive line, with Bryce Huff leaving the team after a career year which featured 10 sacks. He was one of the best pass rushers on the team last year and will undoubtedly be missed, but New York was able to soften the blow by bringing in Hassan Reddick from Philadelphia, who had 11 sacks last year. The other notable addition came on the interior of the defensive line, with Javon Kinlaw coming over from San Francisco. Head coach Robert Saleh was with the 49ers when they drafted Kinlaw, and the pair now reunite in New York to take another crack at a Super Bowl together. Kinlaw should enjoy life between Quinnen Williams and Jermaine Johnson, who were both spectacular in 2023. Williams is a monster in the middle of the defensive line, dominating in run defense whilst also logging 5.5 sacks and 53 hurries. For Johnson, his 7.5 sacks, 47 tackles, 7 passes defended, and an interception resulted in a sophomore breakout for him, with plenty more surely still to come as he continues his development. PFF named this unit the #1 defensive line heading into the 2024 season. When you combine that with their #1 rated cornerback trio and their elite combination of CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams at linebacker, you've got to be excited if you're a Jets fan, especially when you remember who's in charge. Robert Saleh quickly gained hype whilst in San Francisco. He adopted a defense that conceded the most points in the NFL in 2016, nurturing them up to league average 1 year later before reaching dominant status in 2019. By then, the 49ers defense had improved to give up the second fewest yards in the NFL, leading the team on a charge for the Super Bowl, which unfortunately fell just short thanks to the Kansas City Chiefs. Saleh was instrumental in turning around that unit and setting the foundations of a defense that has been amongst the league's best ever since he left. He has already managed to have the same effect in New York, resulting in a team that is primed and ready to dominate the NFL. The combination of that fearsome defensive roster alongside a healthy and well-equipped offense led by a future Hall of Fame quarterback is tantalizing for Jets fans who only know pain. You have to go back to 2010 to find the last Jets playoff appearance and back to 2002 to find the last division win. It's then a further 55 years back to find their last Super Bowl victory. This fan base has been deprived of any cause for celebration for decades, and the pressure on the 2024 season couldn't be higher. To make matters easier, the Buffalo Bills appear to be entering a slight rebuild phase. Having won the last 4 AFC East titles, they've had to let several key players go in an attempt to get on the right side of the salary cap. Aside from them, Miami poses the biggest threat, but will likely not strike too much fear into the heart of Aaron Rodgers given their failure to put up a fight in the latter stages of the season in recent years. With New England then amongst the worst teams in the NFL, this division has never been more open. The Jets have timed their arrival as a powerhouse perfectly, now primed and ready to secure their first division title in over 2 decades. The arrival of Aaron Rodgers in 2023 appeared to be the beginning of a new horizon that could take the Jets to the elusive promised land. As it turns out, that team wasn't ready. Deficiencies on the offensive line would have made life impossible for the team, regardless of whether Rodgers had made it beyond the 4th snap of the season. The early nature of that injury has at least allowed him to make it back to full health well before the 2024 season is set to begin, and he will be slotting into a far better offense this time around. The revamped offensive line will keep him on his feet and will allow him to service an exciting array of playmakers, with one of the league's best defenses then applying the pressure when the offense's job is done. It's time for the Jets to end the curse that has plagued them for decades. It's time for them to go all the way, and Aaron Rodgers is the man to make that happen. How far do you think they can go in 2024? Let me know in the comments.